Hello, everybody. It is Dee and Renee here, and I am broadcasting from sunny Southern California in Palm Desert. We have a clinic here in Palm Desert that my mother runs. So if you are a snowbird, you have a place to go, just let us know. You can type in Palm Desert and I'll send you information on it. This morning, Dee and I guess it's not morning anymore. But today, Dee has been cooking up a storm, and we talked about the Canadian holiday for Thanksgiving comes up on October 6th, and so Dee's up there in Canada and in Medicine Hat, and she probably really feels like fall is there. We don't have so much fall going on here. But if you are watching us live or in the replay, tell us where you're from, say hello, click the like button, and first of all, share our post. So we want to develop as many people, we want to reach as many people as possible to let them know about the low carb lifestyle and how they can do that in a healthy way. So yes, we are both Ideal Protein coaches, but this isn't just about Ideal Protein. It's really about living a healthy long-term lifestyle that you can incorporate for, the rest of your life. All right, Dee, so tell us about your day and what you've been cooking up this week.
Well, it was easy for me to dive into cooking fall Thanksgiving recipes because our weather is kind of dictating warmer, satisfying, hearty dishes and meals. And however, I did create a little bit of condensation in my house because it's not quite as cold out as I thought. So by having the oven and stove and everything continuously going, but I absolutely love to cook for the holidays, whether it's the main course or dessert. So this is fun for me. And I actually have, people at home that will help eat all that meal prep. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. And Dee has a big family of teenagers, boys and girls, and so they got to try turkey dinner this week. All right, so I'm going to bring up our fabulous, gorgeous turkey that Dee created this week, and I will be working on the recipes. So when you type in recipe, it will be a delayed response. It'll come to you later this afternoon, but I will be posting all of these recipes. So all you have to do is type in the word recipe, and those will be coming your way later this afternoon. All right, Dee, tell us about this gorgeous turkey.
I love turkey. I love turkey at any time of the year as well. And so sometimes we forget about this lean white meat because it usually is associated with holidays, but it isn't actually usually a very cost-effective and versatile source of protein. Whether you are purchasing fresh in a grocery store, or I know where we live, we do have Hutterite colonies, and they love to sell their fresh turkeys and chickens, and they're usually quite large. I won't say they're a better price, but they're fresh, and then you are assured of how they were fed and raised as well, which I know is very, very important to a lot of you. One thing that I also like about turkey is usually you're going to get multiple meals out of one bird, and so it becomes a very economical source of protein choice as well. Turkeys are really user-friendly because you don't have to stuff a turkey to cook a really good, successful turkey, and you don't have to babysit it. So when you've seen old graphics in the day where you hear about people basting their turkey every 20 to 30 minutes, to inject the juices into your turkey, basting a turkey, you're simply basting fat over skin that's just going to roll off the skin back down over the turkey. You're not infusing the turkey meat with anything unless you're roasting a skinless turkey, which I wouldn't really recommend. You can, however, you're going to maybe then have a dry turkey. So turkeys can be placed in the oven and left to do their thing, stuffed or unstuffed, which gives you the rest of the day to either clean your house, prepare other dishes, read a book, take a bath, and enjoy the aroma that that turkey bird is going to bring into your house.
Awesome. Good
Yeah.
tips, Dee. I love it. All right. So if you are just joining us, make sure that you, number one, hit the share button and tell us where you're from. Tell us your favorite holiday recipes that you would love Dee to transform. So I had put out a post earlier in the week, and a lot of people came back with their favorites. Dee's got those. She's got a list of things that she'll be creating in her kitchen. So we want to create your favorite recipes so that you feel comfortable during the holidays. And remember, we're changing our lifestyle here. So in changing your lifestyle, we have to have things that we really, really love. And guess who's online? Melissa. Melissa is Dee's boss at Red Cliff Pharmacy up in Medicine Hat. We love Melissa. And they do all kinds of great events at their clinics. So if you guys are looking for great coaches, you're in that area, go look up Dee and Melissa. All right, so here we go. Here is, did I double do it again? I always do that.
Okay.
Turkey. All right, here we go. So this looks, Dee, your photography is outstanding.
Thank you. This is overnight pumpkin spice oatmeal, and as you can see by the chopped, I just read the homemade baked beans. Sorry. You can see the chopped rutabaga in the back. And last week I presented some recipes that used rutabaga puree. And this week I trekked along with that theme because I needed to try that rutabaga puree and a bunch of other recipes that I thought it might work. And in overnight oats, it was a winner in the pumpkin spice category as well. And so I've presented you a really super, super simple version of overnight oats. It's just going to take one oatmeal protein pack. I chose maple, and half a cup of pureed rutabaga. Chose my sweetener. There's a little bit of coffee in there. You could put milk in it or just plain water. The spices, and mix them all together and melded them overnight, and it made a really delicious thick suspension. So if it was a little too thick for you, you could add a little bit more liquid to it. And then I just garnished it with a tiny splash of milk and some more pumpkin spice on the top. And it was really good, really satisfying. And the really neat thing about the overnight oats is, you know, you can have it for breakfast, but it really is sweet enough, decadent enough that if you're craving something sweet or you just need it's honestly more like a dessert. And I chose that is just one serving that you see there, but I put it in two containers instead, just to show that you can maybe enjoy one for breakfast, and maybe you want to enjoy one for an afternoon snack, or maybe you need just a little evening snickety snack if you are somebody who tells yourself all the time that you need a little bit of something after supper. So that is a way to still have something healthy and staying on track. Yeah.
Oh, I love those ideas, because I definitely, you know, one of the things that I work with my clients on is understanding that time of day, or whether it's a situation or what have you. So journaling your emotions in addition to your food. So if you have a specific time of day that really you have, you know, obviously if you're not interested in eating a salad, then you're not really hungry, but we want something sometimes, and this is a great way to incorporate that and you know, have a little snicky snack like you said.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're just joining us, tell us where you're from, tell us what your favorite holiday recipe is, and Dee will do her best to recreate it. I'm not sure how she's going to do baked beans, but I'll leave that to her.
I have baked green bean casserole that we're going to talk about next week. Not exactly the same, but might offer a little taste bud condolences there. So
That's right.
Yep.
So, we all love some stuffing, and I love that Dee has created this wonderful stuffing that is ideal protein phase 1 protocol. So if you're in phase 1, you're losing weight, or you're on a ketogenic diet, you're losing weight, this will fit that bill right there.
Bet. So the interesting thing about, so first of all, let's talk about a more keto stuffing. So find a bread, whether you are in phase 1 or phase 4, find a low carb bread. It doesn't have to be a no carb bread, because even if we're making ideal protein bread, if we're making artisan bread, or my favorite is apple sage bread that I have made, and that's what you see in this recipe. But you could use any soup. You can make a low carb almond flour bread, anything that your heart desires. So first of all, what you're doing is you're basically picking, your base ingredient should be a low carb, protein rich if you want, or not, doesn't matter, depending on what phase of healthy living you're in. And then we're going to build from there. So you're going to start with your bread, and you're actually going to dry it out a bit. And if you don't have dried bread, that's okay. You can just cube it and toast it a little bit, and then you're ready to go. The beautiful thing about stuffing is there are no hard and fast rules for stuffing. None at all. So if you're going to sit down to a big meal and you need to worry about where you're spending your vegetables for that day, for example, you don't have to add a ton of veggies to your stuffing. If you know that you're going to need room, you're going to need to leave that for your side dishes besides your turkey or your roast or your ham or your fish, those types of things. So you can customize your stuffing recipe to the plan in your day. Now, if you are in maintenance, then you have to worry less about those types of tracking, and then veggies can become a big component of your stuffing. My favorite vegetables for traditional stuffing are celery, onions, and mushrooms. Those are my personal favorites. In phase 1, 2, and 3, I choose green onions instead of a white or yellow onion, just because the green onion doesn't caramelize. And then your spices is really what's going to add the taste to your stuffing. It is just the spices in that bread that really take it to the next level. Some clients love to add a little bit of scrambled fried sausage or pork, or they like the giblets. Now, I did have a request for this, and so I wanted to tell you that as a kid growing up, if I ate at somebody else's house and there was raisins and the giblets in the stuffing, then I would spit the stuffing out. And I am just being really honest. However, you are welcome to chop those up and put them in your stuffing again. So really make it customizable to you. So salt, pepper, garlic, savory, poultry seasoning. One of the best tips I can give you as well is you really, really have to mix and mix and mix and mix. And so when you're seasoning those bread cubes before they're baked, in whether you're stuffing the turkey or just doing like a foil pack and baking beside the turkey, mix really, really well, and then sample a little piece of your bread. Because if it tastes really blah before you put it in the oven, it's going to taste really blah when you take it out of the oven. So you really need to adjust the seasoning on your stuffing prior to putting in the oven, and don't be scared to do that. Another little tip that I'm going to give you is a little bit of moisture helps to hold your stuffing together, especially if you are not stuffing the turkey. So when you stuff the turkey, the fat drippings from the turkey are going to help hold your stuffing together. But when you're in phase 1, for example, in doing a foil packet, you might want to use a little bit of chicken broth, or bless you, vegetable stock, or I didn't have any fresh mushrooms on hand, so I used canned mushrooms. You can even use the water from the canned mushrooms just for your liquid. Any type of liquid will work. If you're in phase 4, maybe you would like to use a wine or a sherry to give some flavoring again. You're not going to really get alcohol from that. It's going to cook off. You're going to use such a little bit amount, but those also give really fantastic flavors to your dressing as well. So I, of course, encourage you. This is just a base idea on how to put it together. Really find things that you love or that traditionally you were used to growing up, and then just find substitutes. So if you need a little bit of help finding substitutes as well, just ask, and then we can hopefully give you some ideas if you come across an ingredient that you know you're not allowed to have.
Awesome. Yes. I love all the tips where you know, switch things out. So, understanding that as we, you know, learn to live a different lifestyle, we're going to learn to try different things, new flavors. Don't be afraid to try different flavors. So, you know, we encourage you to keep trying. If you didn't like vegetables as a kid, like I didn't like vegetables as a kid, but now I love my vegetables. So, you know, that will happen. All righty. So if you want these recipes, just type in recipe and know that they'll be coming to you in a delayed format later this afternoon. All right. What do we have here, Dee?
So that is just one of many versions of a gravy that you could have over turkey or poultry. So gravy, gravy, gravy. We get asked about gravy a lot, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time here today. I'm going to give you my opinion only on a few things regarding gravy, and I want you to just know that if you are on a program, I really want you to respect your coach's information and version on this. I'm going to give you mine. I am a coach. But I know my clients personally, and I know their journals personally. I don't know everybody else's. So I just want to make something really clear in my explanation here. The gravy that you see there is the Ideal Protein Chicken Soup. Now, I am a huge fan of Ideal Protein Chicken Soup mix, the plain chicken soup mix. It is a very low carb. It is a nice creamy base. It has a wonderful flavor, and it makes a wonderful gravy. My favorite way to prepare the gravy is I like to just add pre-done chicken stock or turkey broth stock. It's already seasoned. It's already been pre-made. Now, you don't always have this luxury of having that on hand, and so sometimes just plain vegetable or chicken broth will do, and then you can add the appropriate seasonings to it. I have some examples of my favorites, which are things like parsley, thyme, chives, rosemary, sometimes sage, garlic, salt, and pepper. Consistency as well is really up to you on how thick or thin you like to make your gravy. I like to whisk, blend, and heat slowly. I like a thick suspension, but one that will still pour from a gravy boat. So one package of Ideal Protein Chicken Soup Mix will easily make 6 servings of gravy. And so when I'm speaking about 6 servings of gravy, if you were to have 1/6 of that serving of gravy, as a coach, on a special occasion like Thanksgiving, I would give you the 1/6 serving of that gravy. I would say it's not a deal breaker in your week. Good job. Have that serving of gravy. Put the rest back in the freezer, or have another serving the next day. Share it with some family members or somebody else that is on protocol. And that's what I would say. The gravy is not limited to the chicken soup mix. You can make fantastic gravy. Now, if you're not on any program plan, I'm thinking of turkey drippings in the pan. I'm thinking ahead of myself. So wonderful gravy can be made from the drippings in the pan. And if you're in phase 4, we don't want you to be scared of fat because you're not going to be eating animal fat drippings every day, but you can make a really rich, wonderful, flavorful taste of gravy from those drippings. But even in phase 4, we're going to think a little bit about, are we going to whisk flour, or something like that to make that a good suspension, or are we going to turn to things, like a chicken flavored soup mix? I think it's a win. The potato puree and other soup mixes can also make a lovely base for gravy. So I would really encourage you to give it a try. It is a really good substitution, and that little bit of extra chicken flavoring in the plain chicken soup mix, it does help the flavoring. And of course, it's the consistency, it's the suspension of the creamy soup that really does give that kind of smooth, mimicking the gravy that a lot of clients love gravy. Gravy and biscuits is a very southern states staple, I understand. It's not in Canada. So
Well, I grew up with gravy on everything pretty
Okay.
much every day, so I totally love a gravy also. I think we can all agree on that. So if you guys are just joining us, please hit the share button and share out and help us build our audience. We're here every Wednesday. This is a two-part series on holiday. It's Thanksgiving coming up, and the Canadian Thanksgiving is coming up in just a few weeks. Later, another month and a half for our California, or not California, our United States Thanksgiving. But sharing these recipes, and they can be used for any holiday. So if you have a specific recipe that you would love to see Dee remake and make into something that is compatible with a low carb lifestyle, just type in what you are missing, and she has a long list of things to recreate. So just keep sending our ideas our way. All right, Dee. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorites. I love anything that emulates a potato, and certainly our friend Sarah Mulero was talking. She calls herself what is it? Oh gosh, she calls herself a recovering potato addict. So tell us about these lovely radishes.
Radishes are one of the best kept vegetable secrets in the world. They often get passed over, and radishes are amazing. They are a little bit peppery, but when you bake them, they are so mild that they take on the flavor of whatever you are doing. So you've probably seen along your journey, people will roast radishes, make radish chips, make them in their air fryer, add them to a crock pot. And if you're doing a roast beef and with a little bit of the roast beef juice, the au jus, the radishes suck up that flavor. They're a wonderful potato. The longer you cook them, the softer they get, really just like a traditional potato. So you can choose whether or not you like them a little bit firm or really nice and like a smashed potato. I would encourage anybody in phase 4 too. If you've seen those smashed potato recipes where they put the cheese and the chives over top your smashed potatoes, do it with a radish. Just try it. It's amazing. So these radishes though were just done in a foil packet in the oven right alongside my turkey. And these ones you can see the little roasted garlic bits in there. If you don't love to eat the whole garlic cloves, they again become much more mild once they are roasted, but they bring out such a fantastic flavor with the other herbs and spices with them. You can simply pick them out, but they do offer a lot of great flavor to your radish. And these ones just have simple thyme and rosemary, a little bit of parsley, garlic, salt and pepper. You can roast them in a tiny bit of oil if you prefer, or you don't need to, or you can drizzle it over after. They will still roast. The tiny touch of oil does help you spread your herbs around on them. And it's that simple. It's really hard to ruin them as well. So whether you're going low and slow at 325 for an hour, or at 400 for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, they're pretty foolproof. You don't really need a hard and fast recipe to roast radishes. I've seen them done in the air fryers as well, really quick. They come out beautiful that way as well. So for example, when my turkey was in the oven in the last hour of its roasting, that's when I placed my foil packet of radishes and my foil packet of stuffing inside the oven so that it all can cook alongside each other. And the really neat thing about that too is even if you're a little bit late getting them in, once you pull your turkey out, it's going to need to rest for about 20 or 30 minutes before you carve it. So it's okay if your veggies are still in the oven finishing off, because you want to serve those hot with the rest of the dishes. And so it makes it really easy to plan out your action on getting the food from the oven to the table for presentation. So it's a fast way, and you don't have to mess up a ton of dishes as well.
Yeah, by using, yeah, I'm not a big fan of foil, I will say. So you could actually wrap them in parchment and then wrap the foil around them, and cook them. So being careful of our metals and things that we're ingesting. But yeah, love the radishes. I also cook them in the Instant Pot super fast, like less than 10 minutes. So that's another option that you
Little
have.
one more thing. Little Corningware dishes are like the Corningware from the 50s is making its resurgence, like in the same exact print that's on the side from the 50s. So and it's really, and there's lovely tiny little Corningware roasting dishes, and you can pick those up really economically at most major Walmarts, Cole,
Yeah, or
Mhm.
wherever. You can
Yeah,
probably get them at TJ Maxx too,
right.
at Home Goods too. I don't know. Do you guys have Home Goods up there?
With Home Sense.
Oh,
Home,
Home Goods is like this amazing store with everything that's discounted. That's
oh,
like one of my favorite shopping place. All
awesome.
right, so now Dee has put together this fabulous low carb plate. This is the end result of her fabulousness. So where you going, Dee? Oh, look. Oh, there we go. There we go. It's all gone. That was lunch today.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, so everything except for the pickles, but we did show you in a previous episode how to make pickles. And so everything that we just talked about is right there on that plate. And that was one of you just I just don't even know how to say this. I've eaten that plate of food about 3 times now. So
It was a very satisfying meal, and it looks satisfying, and really that's what we want to get across is as we change our lifestyles, trying new dishes, trying new substitutes for things, we really can enjoy the journey. And if you're moping around, oh my gosh, what am I going to have for the holidays? Everybody else is going to be eating all this other stuff, and I don't get to, then you're going to feel deprived. And that's when we start to fall off of our plan. So let's really have a strategy where you go into the holiday season in it to win it. It's just like every weekend. We go into the weekend knowing that once we get to Monday, we made it through another week, and we're on track, and we lose our weight, and we feel good about the decisions that we made. So I wanted to just kind of just highlight a few things that people sent us. I know we're getting almost to the end of the show. So Cher said, any alternative for an apple crisp, and I know you have those kinds of things. So what do you recommend, Dee?
your chayote squash mimics apples really beautifully. You could use zucchini as well, but the chayote is firmer, and we can tag you or re-put up some good apple crisp versions. Again, just the oatmeal, the IP oatmeal, and a good old chayote squash, and your choice of sweetener and some cinnamon can make an excellent alternate for the real apple crisp.
Okay, so we'll post that recipe for you. And then Lorraine says homemade bread chili.
Okay, so what's bread chili? Lorraine, you're gonna have to tell me more what bread chili is, because I've never had bread chili, but if you tell
Okay,
me what the
so
original is.
yeah, we'll look that up, or you send us what's in the bread chili, and then Dee can kind of remake it. And Cynthia says I can't rewind. You can't rewind because we're live right now. But yes, once we finish the broadcast, you can go back. And basically, that plate was all of the different recipes that Dee provided and showed us and talked about in today's broadcast.
Yeah.
So, any tips about the holidays, Dee, just before we go off the air? Can you give us a few tips?
If you are comfortable hosting, be a host. Be in control of your own kitchen. And if you're going to have guests and they offer to bring something that you know that they like, then by all means you let them do it. And then you don't worry about it, whether it's a bevy or a dessert, or or maybe that's even your game plan. You know what? I'm going to provide the turkey and the healthy sides, and you bring your own dessert, or you bring the dessert for everybody else. Options like that. Concentrate on your presentation, cook things that you like. And if you don't know what you like, let us help you find things that you like. This is just a first part of 2 parts, and so there's a lot of things missing from my Thanksgiving presentation that we'll get to. Some more side dishes, really simple, beautiful green salads, condiments, options for condiments, from your cranberries, to maybe mustards, horseradishes, things that you can make on your own. There's so many things that we can talk about. If you are going to be invited to somebody else's house, and whether it is in-laws, outlaws, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, whatever, and before you go, I just want to say this. If you know before you go, if those are loving, welcoming homes and you love that company, then you go. You go and you be honest about what you need and what you want, and those people are going to welcome you with open arms, and they're probably gonna, they're probably gonna ask you and be interested in what you're eating and what you're doing, and secretly be really proud and impressed with you that you can do this. If you are invited to somebody's home where, like I said, outlaws, etc., you don't have to go. You really don't. If you know it's going to make you feel bad about yourself, or make you choose bad choices, or lead you down the path to bad choices because it's stressful, then if you have your own little family or significant other or friends that really have your back, and you need to make that choice for your health and mental well-being, please do that, and stay with the people that have your back. We could talk about, it's really, it's a big part of it. I read something just a little while ago about, people that in your circle, like, that support you, that cheer for you. Like, your circle should be your biggest support, and if they're not, you need a new circle. And I loved it because people who love us, they love us whether we are slim or fluffy or healthy, or maybe going through a health struggle. They love us when we have sad days. They love us when we have happy days. They're in our circle. If we are having an unbeautiful day versus a beautiful day, and whether that is in body, mind, or spirit, those people are always going to be in your circle. And so we just really need to concentrate on giving our time and our energy to those that are well receptive to that. And I'm a really big believer in it. I'm a really selfish person. I choose my 5 first all the time. And I have missed, and I'm going to be really honest, I have missed family weddings, family gatherings, family, you name it, baptisms. I've even missed, funeral, not for immediate family, but I've missed those occasions if somebody in my immediate 5 has had something going on more important to them. And it's because they are the most important to me, and hopefully I'm the most important to them. And it's just such a small time in our lives, and so we just choose what's right in your heart. And the other thing is, without getting a little bit too ooky gooky, just trust your instinct. It's there for a reason. If something feels wrong, it is. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to remember is that this is a temporary time. So if you're in phase 1 and maybe your journey is a little bit longer, it's okay, because next year is still coming. But remember, it doesn't matter if you're in maintenance or you're losing weight. We need to change our lifestyle. So incorporating all of these recipes is really the ticket to that. So on that note, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. If you're watching in the replay, know that you can type the word recipe and recipes will come, but they will be a little bit later today if you're in the live. And join us every Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be part 2 of the Thanksgiving recipes. And so, Dee, thank you for joining me as always. And thank you guys for showing up for us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.